Hello, I'm Craig Brailsford, and welcome to another episode of Small Stocks, Big Money. For those of you new to the show, RedChip is an investor relations, media, and research firm focused on emerging growth companies. Our unique platform combines global multimedia with traditional investor relations, reaching investors around the world. Now, today's show features interviews with the executives of two public companies. First up is Fathom Holdings. Fathom is a technology-driven real estate services platform revolutionizing the traditional brokerage model. Through its innovative flat-fee commission structure, proprietary technology, and integrated offerings, which span residential brokerage, mortgage, title, and SaaS, Fathom enables agents to maximize their earnings while delivering superior scalability and efficiency. We'll learn more when we speak with the CEO later in the show. Up next is FibroBiologics. FibroBiologics is a clinical-stage biotechnology company developing a pipeline of treatments and potential cures for chronic diseases using fibroblast cells and fibroblast-derived materials. FibroBiologics holds more than 160 U.S. and internationally issued patents and pending patents across various clinical pathways, including disc degeneration, orthopedics, multiple sclerosis, psoriasis, wound healing, reversing organ involution, and cancer. FibroBiologics represents the next generation of medical advancement in cell therapy. We'll learn more when we speak with the CEO later in the show. Before we dive into our first interview, let's take a moment to recognize some of RedChip's top performers in 2024, among them RedCat, up an incredible 1,293% in 2024. Alliance Entertainment, soaring by 842%, Gorilla Technology, which gained 250%, and Nova Minerals, up 149%. These companies have demonstrated the immense potential of the small-cap market. Before we move forward, let's take a look at RedChat, a revolutionary AI chatbot for small-cap stock analysis.
Think RedChip. Think RedChat. Answers in seconds on any NYSE or NASDAQ company. Fast, easy, precise. From blue chips to microcaps. Cash, enterprise value, analyst ratings. Answers in seconds. RedChat with SEC filing references. Think RedChip. Think RedChat, your AI assistant for every NYSE and NASDAQ company. Get the app today. RedChip, RedChat.
Now, let's move on to our quote of the week. It comes from the book Small Stocks, Big Money. Work hard, be a long-term thinker, develop tenacity, and remember, nothing happens without taking calculated risks. This quote comes from Phil Sassower of the Phoenix Group, and it is featured in Chapter 9 of Small Stocks, Big Money, a book of exclusive interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Get a digital copy on Amazon today for just $18. Now let's get started with our first interview today with Fathom Holdings. Hello, today we have Marco Fregenal, Chief Executive Officer of Fathom Holdings, trading on the NASDAQ under the ticker FTHM. Marco, welcome back.
Thank you. It's great to be here with you today.
Fathom has been described as a technology-driven disruptor in real estate. What's fundamentally different about your model compared to traditional brokerages?
Well, at Fathom, we built a company from the ground up to operate differently. Unlike traditional brokerages burdened by brick and mortar, office space, and legacy systems, we operate in a virtual cloud-based model powered by a proprietary technology called IntelliAgent that we fully own and control. This allows us to drive the cost per transaction down to just about $270 per transaction at scale, which is a fraction of what traditional brokerages spend. The result of that is a much more efficient, scalable business that pays our agents more, empowers them with the tools that we need to be successful, and ultimately should deliver stronger margins for us as a company.
Marco, Fathom exceeded analysts' expectations in Q1, posting a 32% year-over-year increase in revenue. What were the key drivers behind that strong performance?
We are proud of our Q1 results, which really reflect the strength of our model. The biggest drivers were continued agent growth, increased transaction volume, and the rapid expansion of our gross profit. In fact, gross profit in Q1 grew over 34% year over year. That's a sign that there are efforts to improve operational efficiency and drive margin expansion are working. We're also approaching adjusted EBITDA profitability, which we expect to achieve in Q2 of this year. It's an exciting inflection point for us in our business, which shows that we are in the process of scaling into much higher profitability percentages.
You now have more than 14,700 agents, Marco, with year-over-year growth of nearly 23% and retention rates almost double the industry average. What's driving that success, and how scalable is your current growth model?
Look, agent growth is core to our business, and our momentum is strong because we offer our agents more value. With incredibly low fees, industry-leading commission splits, and a more robust support, agents can reinvest more into growing their businesses. Our model is inherently scalable because it's not constrained by physical offices or high overhead. Whether we serve 15,000 agents or 50,000 agents, the platform remains efficient. In fact, if we become more efficient with scale. Plus, our high retention rate shows that when an agent comes to Fathom, they stay because we're delivering on our promises.
Marco, I want to hear more about the Elevate program. I want to know, how does it empower your agents, and what does it mean for Fathom's long-term profitability and agent productivity?
That's a great question. We believe Elevate is a game changer for us. It's a premium concierge program that helps agents run their businesses and close more deals. It includes professional marketing, lead nurturing services, transaction management, and much more. For agents, it means more efficiency, better branding, increased closings, and more time spent with their clients rather than on marketing or running the day to day of their businesses. For Fathom, it translates into higher agent productivity and greater transaction gross profit, all without increasing the cost. Elevate drives both top line growth and improving margins.
Turning now to acquisitions, Marco, you've mentioned a pipeline of more than 100 acquisition targets representing 200,000 agents. How do you prioritize all those targets, and what's your strategy for integrating them efficiently?
Over the last few years, we spoke with hundreds of companies, but we prioritize any acquisition based on the strategic alignment, cultural fit, and financial performance. So we're not looking to buy a company just to grow agent count. We're looking for brokerages where a model can unlock a great deal of value within that brokerage. Our proprietary technology makes integration very fast and fairly seamless. Because we don't need to maintain physical office space, we can onboard new agents and leadership teams into our platform with minimal disruption. That's why we successfully completed several large acquisitions, and we believe that we are just getting started.
Amid this volatile housing market, Marco, Fathom just continues to grow. Now, how does this low overhead virtual model of yours protect you during uncertain economic conditions?
That's a great question. And resilience is really built into our model because we don't carry the heavy fixed costs of traditional brokerages like office leases and franchise overheads. We can remain lean even when the market slows down. That gives us room to adapt quickly and continue investing in innovation. And our agents love that we don't nickel and dime them with hidden fees. In uncertain times, agents want more control over their income and, more importantly, over expenses. And we provide that stability. This is why our agent count keeps growing even in a very tough market.
Final question, Marco. What is the essential value proposition? Why should investors take an interest in Fathom right now?
Fathom is at a key turning point. Between our technology, agent network, our brand, we have built a solid foundation, and now we're entering a phase of scale profitability. We are disrupting a very massive, fragmented industry with a better model that gives agents more and allow us to operate more efficiently. With accelerating gross margins, strong revenue growth, a growing portfolio of high-margin services, and an attractive pipeline of acquisition targets, we believe Fathom represents one of the most compelling growth stories in real estate today.
It is a great story, Marco. Thanks for being with us today.
It is a pleasure and appreciate your time. Thank you.
Now, to get more information on Fathom Holdings, visit FTHMinfo.com. You'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. It's all free, and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news. You can also call 1-800-RedChip to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. We also have a free weekly newsletter you can subscribe to at redchip.com, featuring emerging growth companies like Fathom Holdings. Watch this show again and explore hundreds of small-cap stock videos on RedChip's YouTube channel, and also go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly our client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, visit redchip.com and subscribe today. In addition to our newsletter, you can also order your copy of Small Stocks, Big Money, a book written by RedChip's CEO, featuring interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Order your copy on Amazon today for just $18. Before we move forward, let's take a look at RedChat, a revolutionary AI chatbot for small-cap stock analysis.
Think RedChip. Think RedChat. Answers in seconds on any NYSE or NASDAQ company. Fast, easy, precise. From blue chips to microcaps. Cash, enterprise value, analyst ratings. Answers in seconds. RedChat with SEC filing references. Think RedChip. Think RedChat. Your AI assistant for every NYSE and NASDAQ company. Get the app today. RedChip. RedChat.
Now, let's move on to our next interview today with FibroBiologics. Hello, today we have Pete O'Hearn, Chairman, Founder, and CEO of FibroBiologics, trading on the NASDAQ under the ticker FBLG. Pete, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
FibroBiologics, a clinical stage biotech addressing chronic diseases with large unmet needs. Most investors probably don't realize just how big the chronic disease market is, Pete. Can you give us a sense of the scale of the medical problems FibroBiologics is targeting?
Sure. We look at big pharma since the 1960s. They've never really cured a chronic disease, and trillions of dollars spent on that. We look at chronic diseases as a planet-sized market. The diabetes alone is over 537 million people globally, which is more than the populations of U.S. and Brazil combined. They affect up to 25% of the diabetic patients, and they're responsible for 80% of the non-traumatic lower limb amputations. That's tens of billions of dollars. The broader chronic wound space is a $20 to $30 billion global market, and it grows every year with the aging population. So this is a really unmet market with really no good solution.
Let's talk about diabetic foot ulcers, which is your lead program. It actually is a condition that can lead to amputations and even death. What makes your treatment different from what's available out there today?
Well, I will start with more time on target. The current treatments are dressings, debridement. There is a leading biologic that's the number one in the market. We outperform that in the lab. We heal in 50% of the time of that existing product. We put on the wound site spheroids. Those are droplets of fibroblast cells, up to 3,000 per droplet. And they dissolve into the wound in a very predictable biologic time release. And what that gives us is more time on target for those to release their growth factors and cytokines into that wound to create that healing environment. And we've seen fantastic results in the lab, and we're excited to start our human trials.
Tell me more about the platform approach of FibroBiologics. It's really the thing that stands out to me about your company. Now, how does your technology allow you to go after multiple diseases with that one core system?
It's a great question. There's two cells in the human body you can use to regenerate tissue and cure chronic disease. There's a stem cell, which everybody's heard about, and there's a fibroblast, which almost nobody's heard about. The irony is that fibroblasts outnumber stem cells 5,000 to 1. We have found them to be have more potency, higher therapeutic value than stem cells. They're easier to harvest than stem cells. You can take a small dermal punch, and from that you can virtually grow the entire human body. They are a more robust cell. Stem cells are inherently unstable, and fibroblasts are very stable. They are fully differentiated. So stem cells want to be anything other than a stem cell. Fibroblasts know that they're fibroblasts. They can become other cells, but you have to talk them into it. And the irony of ironies is the reason we know about stem cells is because in 2012, Dr. Yamanaka from Japan won the Nobel Prize for the first induced pluripotent stem cell. That is to take one cell source and turn it into another cell. The irony of ironies is that he used a fibroblast to create that stem cell. So our cell source is literally responsible for the entire stem cell revolution.
Pete, your technology has been described as more scalable and more cost-effective than traditional cell therapy. What does that mean for your patients and, of course, for investors?
Well, first of all, in comparing us to stem cells, they are an unstable platform, as I mentioned before. They're very difficult to work with, very costly. I think there's one or two stem cell products that are available. They are extraordinarily expensive. Fibroblasts being easier to harvest, easier to grow, a much more stable platform, they will always be more effective than stem cells, and they will always be less expensive than stem cells. So they will carry with them a much higher margin at lower cost to the system.
You've got a strong leadership team. It includes a world-class scientific advisory board. Tell us about the key players on your team.
Well, it starts with the head of the team is Hamid Khoja, our chief scientific officer. Hamid is the world's foremost expert in the therapeutic use of fibroblasts. We actually presented last week to a medical school professor who teaches dermatology, which is essentially what fibroblasts are. At the end of the presentation, he said, I had no idea. I teach fibroblasts every day, and I had no idea that they had a therapeutic value. So Hamid leads the world in that expertise. And on our scientific advisory board, we have really leaders in stem cells, because fibroblast leaders didn't exist out there. But these are world leaders in stem cells who did their research. They looked at what we were doing with fibroblasts and said they wanted to be a part of this. So we are really excited about the breadth and depth of our scientific advisory board.
Looking ahead 12 to 18 months, what are some key milestones that investors should be watching out for?
So in Q3 and 4, you'll be looking for some interim result data from our diabetic foot ulcer. We're doing site visits today. In fact, Hamid is in Australia doing site visits. So you'll see some interim results from that. You'll see top line results either towards the end of the year or the beginning of 26. So it all begins really right now, and that's a short endpoint study, 12 weeks. Our endpoint we will be releasing 6-week interim data. So you'll see something before the end of the year on that.
Final question, Pete. What is the essential value proposition? Why should an investor take an interest in FibroBiologics right now?
Well, again, we are a platform technology. We have multiple verticals. We have diabetic foot ulcers. We have orthopedics. We have degenerative disc disease. We do cancer, multiple sclerosis. We have a really exciting area of psoriasis that's beginning, and an extension of human life program through our repair of the thymic function. The thymus gland teaches the immune system. When you get into your 70s, it stops working. We've shown that we can create an organoid, a collection of fibroblast cells, and inject those under the skin, and they release and develop T cells for the body. We think that if that is successful, we can extend human life another 10 or 15 years. That's all wrapped up in more intellectual property in fibroblasts than the rest of the world combined. We have over 275 patents in this space. We are by far the world leader.
It's a great story, Pete. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, to get more information on FibroBiologics, visit FBLGinfo.com. You'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. It's all free, and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news. You can also call 1-800-RedChip to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. We also have a free weekly newsletter you can subscribe to at RedChip.com, featuring emerging growth companies like FibroBiologics. Watch this show again and explore hundreds of small-cap stock videos on RedChip's YouTube channel. And also go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly our client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, visit redchip.com and subscribe today. In addition to our newsletter, you can also order your copy of Small Stocks, Big Money. This is a book written by RedChip's CEO, featuring interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Order your copy on Amazon today for just $18. Now, let's recap the companies featured today. First, you met Fathom Holdings, FTHM on the NASDAQ. Fathom Holdings is a technology-driven real estate services platform revolutionizing the traditional brokerage model. Through its innovative flat-fee commission structure, proprietary technology, and integrated offerings, which span residential brokerage, mortgage, title, and SaaS, Fathom enables agents to maximize their earnings while delivering superior scalability and efficiency. Learn more at www.fthminfo.com. Then, you met FibroBiologics, FBLG on the NASDAQ. FibroBiologics is a clinical-stage biotechnology company developing a pipeline of treatments and potential cures for chronic diseases using fibroblast cells and fibroblast-derived materials. FibroBiologics holds more than 160 U.S. and internationally issued patents and pending patents across various clinical pathways, including disc degeneration, orthopedics, multiple sclerosis, psoriasis, wound healing, reversing organ involution, and cancer. FibroBiologics represents the next generation of medical advancement in cell therapy. Learn more at www.fblginfo.com. Don't forget to check out our stocks page. It is the biggest small-cap stock portal in the industry. It has every company listed on the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange with a market cap of $2 billion and less. And it's categorized by industries. Watch this show again and explore hundreds of small-cap stock videos on RedChip's YouTube channel. And be sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter and learn about a lot of small-cap companies. Also, go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly our client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, if you have any questions about any of our public companies featured on today's show, call us at 1-800-RedChip or email us at info@redchip.com. In closing, remember, while small caps can provide significant gains, you must be prepared for the downside. Small cap stocks are among the most volatile of asset classes. Some of the companies featured on this show are RedChip client companies, and we may own stock in these companies, so please always read our disclosures at redchip.com. Thanks for being with us today. We'll see you next week with some new, exciting, emerging growth companies.
RedChip. We build investor audiences for small cap companies, retail and institutional. 33 years, thousands of clients. We are experts in messaging. National TV ad campaigns, investor webinars, digital media, reaching hundreds of thousands of investors. RedChip. We do it well, we do it right, we do it big. RedChip. Call us or email us today.
Cell therapy is transforming how we treat many diseases. Meet FibroBiologics, NASDAQ FBLG, 160 patents issued and pending, leveraging a diverse library of commercial use fibroblast cells that naturally fight disease and repair tissue. FibroBiologics is developing a new and innovative cell therapy platform to treat chronic diseases, addressing multi-billion-dollar markets, now advancing clinical trials for wound care and multiple sclerosis. FibroBiologics, symbol FBLG.
Hi, I'm Pete O'Haron, chairman of Liberty Star Minerals. We are an early exploration company located in southeastern Arizona in a highly mineralized zone in the Brisbee Tombstone area. We have two high-level assets in a porphyry copper deposit, which has one of the largest mineral footprints in the Western Hemisphere. And then adjacent to that, we have a Red Rock Canyon, which is near surface gold deposit, which recorded some of the highest gold concentrations we've seen last year. These are enormous mineral footprints. They are polymetallic. We have in excess of 13,000 acres of gold, silver, copper, cobalt, rare earths, moly. It's just a tremendously well-established mineralized zone in southeast Arizona, and we are in the stages of identifying the boundaries and the depth of these mineral deposits. If you're looking for more information on us, you can go to our website, libertystarminerals.com, and we have all of our reports listed there, along with our press releases and any contact information you may need. Thank you.